Hello guys, welcome back to this channel. Actually, that's a Netcode-Hub channel. In this video, we are going to talk about how do you create a reset password mechanism in order to help user to create a new account. No, to create a new password instead when this old password is missing or forgotten. So you see, with ASP.NET Core Identity has a mechanism that can aid us to reset a password. Now in this case, a token is going to be generated and we can now convert it as a URL and send it to the person's email account. When the person clicks on that button, it navigates us back to the page whereby we check if the identity and the token that was sent to the person's account is the same as what we have in our database. If they correspond, then we give it a form for the person to create new password. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, it is. In my previous videos, I have talked about that is email confirmation. If you want to confirm a person's email as soon as the user registers your account, before the person logs in, the email of that person must be confirmed first. And that is what I have done. So in the previous video, I have it the description or the link being added to the description over here, so you can just go in there and check related videos and you're going to see that over there. So you can check on that video to know how to confirm email account. So in this video we are focusing on reset password. Okay, I have a video also about authentication in Blazor and authorization. We are now building this because before you can add a forget password mechanism, you must have an authentication added already. So I have done that, and you can also check it in the description. That is a link provided, and you're going to see that as first. Okay, so all this put together is going to help you to build a nice application with a good authentication and security as well. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do here is in our project, this is what we have. Now I can now register an account. I can now log in. So this is the registration form. I demand only username, that's the email and password, and the email is going to be used as a username. Also I have a login and password, so email and password. But as you can see from here, there's no mechanism whereby I can check or I can click on forget password. So with this account for now, if a user clicks on it and register and forget his password, it means the account is locked for the person because there's no mechanism to aid the person to retrieve or reset new password when the old one is forgotten. And this doesn't make the account great. So you want to implement that feature to actually make it user friendly to users who are going to register to your application as well. Okay, nothing special in this, and it's going to be a simple one. So we're going to move it step by step from scratch for you to know what you are doing here. That is based on the reset password, but for the other one, that's authentication and authorization and also email confirmation, please watch the related videos as I have added the links under the description and to get a better understanding. I'm going to just glance through them, but I'm not going to take time to explain them. I'm going to tell you what they do and off we move it to the topic for today. Okay, so let's get going. Now this is the source code for what you see here. Now first of all, we need WebAssembly project. So you can see with the WebAssembly project, we have the client section, we have the server and the class library. That is a shared project. So in the server project, we have some codes over here to help us achieve this. Now we first created our connection string in the app settings over here. So we have our connection string stated on top here. Aside from that, you have this for the JWT, that is JavaScript, and also other JSON Web Tokens keys over here. So as you can see from here, this is a JSON Web Token that we have added here. That's a JWT security key, issuer, and the audience, and the expiry dates. Okay, so this is what you're going to use to generate our token. Now this is what you're going to use to also add configure our email service, that to send email. Okay, so aside from that, we need to create a data application DB contest and perform a migration. So we perform it over here, as you can see. That is a migration, and that's application DB contest. So this is what we perform, the row base. So we add these rows and we move on to the next one. After performing this migration, we have to create our controllers, and now we have two controllers here, that's the account and login. Account enable user to create account with that system, and login also enable us to the user to log in into the account created already. Okay, now inside the account you can see that you have a create account, and now this here we create confirm email token, and we send to the user. We call this email service over here, so that's the email service. Then we send the email to the user. When the person clicks on that email, confirm email, receive it here, and now we check and redirect the person to the login. Now when you go to the login section, you can see here the user also logs in with the account, and now we check with the rows and authenticate the user to the specific way that we want to do it. We get the keys from the app settings by using this configuration, then return a token. Okay, so once you're done with this, the next thing that we do here is we go to the client project. Now the client project, these are the few things that you need to do in order for us to get these services to the user. We have to create a folder, and that folder is named as service folder, and we have to generate our services in it. So if you check here, you can see we have service folder here. Now this service folder contains the authorization service and the interface. So the implementation here contains few things, that's the login, logout, that is the register, login, and logout. Okay, and now this service class contains the implementation for these interfaces, and that's exactly what we are doing here. In case the user clicks on register, in case he clicks on login, and in case he logs out, what should happen? And that's exactly what we are doing here by also setting up the local storage and removing the local storage with the various methods indicated here. Okay, aside from that, we go to our pages, and now we create our login, logout. So these are register, we have our index, we have our login over here, and we have our login display and logout. So these are the various packages, or these are the various components that we added together to have this beautiful work you see on the screen. So I can now click on register, and I can log in and perform anything as well. Okay, so that is it. And now what we want to focus here, it is a reset password. So in order to do it, first of all, we have to create a model, and that model is going to be a reset password because we have this already set under the app setting.json. And as I go through again, when you go to the app setting.json, we have app URL, and there is the URL of our application with the port. My port is 7205, so check your port, run the application and see. So 7205, that is a port, and we pass it over here. Now there's an email username, and there's an email host and email password. Now since there's a practical base and there's just a tutorial, I can't use my email account, so I have to get a dummy one or a fake one. So with this, I had a fake one from ethereal.email, and that is what I have over here. Okay, so we try to do that, and you're going to see how to go about that. And that is the email host. Now this host also goes in with a port, that's a 587, and we're going to work on that as well. Okay, so these are the first thing that we need to configure as well. Now when we are done with this, there's a few things that you also need to do. We have to create our request reset password DTO. So DTO stands for data transfer object, and DTOs are used to transfer data from the database to service or controller. Okay, so from database and controller, or from controller to service, not to user. If you want to get it from controller to user or from service to user, then we have to use a view model, but it's just a data transfer object from between these two components. Okay, so we create a DTO, and this DTO is going to carry email, token, new password, and a confirm new password. So if the user tries to pass in a new password, that's what you want to do. Now if I forget my password, what's the right thing to do? I have to provide my email address, isn't it? So if I provide my email address, that is where we can enable the user to perform or to check. We check the person's email, the token, then we give the person access to create new and confirm the new password. So let's first create our component to our model, so we can just check the password. As soon as the person clicks on, maybe password is missing, then as soon as the person clicks on it, we can now open it for the person to pass in the email. Alright, so let's go to the login, and let's try to add a link whereby the user can click to forget password, as if like forget password link. Okay, so let's add it. Now let's go to Solution Explorer. Now in the client project, you can see we have a login. So with this login, if you want to add another one here, that is after the form, and I will add it as what, a new one as forget password. So let's save this. So this is what we just added, and now let's try to refresh over here and see what we have now. So let's see. So we save this, and after that let's wait for it to be saved. Then we can now click on this load to reload this, so we can see forget password beneath. So it is reloading. Alright, so you can see we have forget password. Okay, so if I click on this button here, as my password is being forgotten, what is the next step to do? So I can now navigate to a page whereby it's going to demand my email that I know to send it. So let's go in there and create that. So let me close this. So let's create a component known as forgot password. So in our component, we go to Solution Explorer. Now in the pages folder, right click, that is for the client project. Right click this, and I go to add. Then we're going to add a new Razor component, and the name here that we're going to provide here is forgot password.razor. So forgot password.razor. So we add this component. So with this component that has been added, let's copy all this. Now don't worry, this code is going to be made available there. So when you see the output, maybe you can design a simple thing for your own. Okay, so let's wait for the component to be initialized. Then we can now paste what you have copied. To just go through, we're going to just develop, we're going to set just an edit form, whereby you're going to pass in only an input for the person to pass in his email address. The email address that the person used for the registration, we're going to pass in that. So the user going to provide that email address. That's a very simple thing that we are doing here. So if you check, the root here is forget password, and we are using this DTO. So we are using this auth service, and we are using navigation manager as well. Okay, so once you are done here, we are checking errors in this, and so please enter your email. So there's just a validation to set or to display any errors in it. Now you can see we have only a div, and this div here it is displaying what that is the email. So reset model.email. So that's what we are going in for. And now we display a message here. In case there's anything else, we pass it over here and we submit this. So when we submit, as soon as everything is okay, this is going to handle that. So when you go to this method, this is what you're doing here. Now you create an object out of reset password DTO, and now the name is what, reset model. So have we created a reset password DTO? No, we haven't. We are going to create that soon. So reset model. Now we're going to specify, so the model, you're going to use only the email in it. Now with that email, we pass it here because this service here that we are going to create needs an email. So when you pass in this model, you're going to retrieve the email from this model, and I pass it to a method known as forget password. We haven't created that yet, so we're about to create it. As soon as the person clicks on the button, we have please wait. Okay, then it's calling this auth service. That's why we are injecting this auth service here, the authentication service that you have created already. Now if everything is successful, then we just have to wait. So let's see. Now here we display errors over here, and that is what the error that you want to display here is quite simple, and it is coming in from the result from this auth service. Now this result is saying that your email has now been reset, so or the password is now reset, so user can now log in. Okay, so that's going to be the output of this in case everything works successfully for us. Okay, else then error that's going to pop up, we display the error there. So that is this simple one that we have done here. Now our next thing that we need to create this reset password DTO. We can copy this and I will go to our shared project. In our models folder, right click, let's add that model. So add new class. The name of that class is going to be reset password DTO. So let's add that. Now in that reset password DTO, these are the things or the properties that we need. Yeah, so let's change this to public. And now with this, let's add component the data annotations. Okay, so we check this is email, so we're going to check here email. And now this is a token. So the token that you're going to send to the user, you're going to demand that token here and the person's email, and also the person's new password and the confirmed password. But for now, when the forget password is clicked, we're going to use only the email. These are going to be left blank. Okay, we need only the email, unless when we allow the user to set a new password, that's why we're going to need this. Alright, so we can just take off Ctrl+period. We can take off the unnecessary usings and remaining only those ones that we need, and that is the component data annotation. Okay, so let's save this, and now we can go to this forget password eraser, and we have this set here, so we can also save this. Let's close this and see. Let's open it again. So forget password, and it's over here. Okay, so we have that as well indicated, and this method is going to be called when everything is successfully. Well, this part of this this underline here, let's see. So let's save this. Now let's run the application and see if we're going to have errors in that component. Click on this. So let's find it and see. Let's close this. So log in, and if I click on forget password, it must navigate to that page. Forget password, so nothing is found here, so it means we have errors in there. Let's save this again. So I want us to just copy all this. We can now close this, and can we delete this? Forgot password, and let's try to create a new one. Eraser component, and it is forgot password. So the password dot eraser. Let's paste this, and let's see if this. Let's save this one. Save this. So let's see if this is going to work for us. So forget password. Okay, so this is working. Now that green underline, I don't actually know the reason why that happened. So if you know, you can just let me know in the comment section there. Okay, but you must have this. Those green lines must gone. So we save this, and now let's refresh the application and see. So let's run that. So let's run that and check it up over here and see if it is working. So there's error here. Now where from this error, let's check it out. Let's try it again. Okay, so the type DTO does not exist. So let's see the DTO. So let's clear this off, and this reset password, Ctrl+period. Okay, so let's save this and let's run this again. Alright, so IOT service does not contain definition for this forget password. Okay, so let's continue on. Let's finish it and see. Because this auth service doesn't, so you can just comment this. We save that. Let's run. you just want to test and see if this is working. So result does not. Whoa, don't worry, let's move on with this. Maybe when we are done, okay, we can just actually run through and see. Okay, so now we have our component built. So that's our model built. The next thing that we can do here is we have our auth service. We have to provide the auth service, a method in the auth service or that authentication service to enable us to perform that forget password. Okay, so let's go to our auth service and let's add this forget password interface. So we go to the auth service, and that's going to be for the client project, and inside the service folder, that's the iAuth service, we are going to add this forget password. Okay, so forget password, you have it, and it is coming in with reset password DTO and model. Now this model is coming in with only the email. That's what we need. Okay, so that's what we are feeding it inside the forget password component. So once you have this, we must go to the that's the auth service, and have a definition for this. So in the auth service, forget password, where is it? Can you find it here? There's a forget password. You can actually now copy this and then go to applications, and somewhere here we can paste this. So this is just a forget password, and it is receiving a model from the reset password. That is going to be the email. So this is what you are doing. Now we are passing, we put it to an API, that's a login API, and the method known as forget password. We add the model, that's the email. So in there, we are going to check in the user manager and see if everything is intact. Okay, but in case it is not successful, then we're going to return something went wrong. But in case it's successful, then you want to just say password reset link has been sent to your email, so please check it out. Okay, so this one, in case it's successfully done, this is the output. In case it is not, this is what we're going to display. Okay, so we need to trace up API login controller and I'll create a method known as forget password. So let's see. Let's go to login controller, and now I have to get a method known as forget password, and that's going to be a post. So let's copy this method here, and let's go to the controller, that's the login controller. So server project, and you open that, you go to controllers folder, and the login controller, we are going to add that the next line. So this login, let me just hide this. Okay, okay, so go back. Yeah, let's paste this. Now if you check this here, we are using the user manager. So with this user manager, you see we are not having this user manager here. So let's copy that first from the account controller. So do you have user manager? We have it right here. So let's copy this. Then login controller, we can now add this user manager. We can copy this as well, and let's inject it here. So we can take off this, and now let's copy this. Now let's initialize the constructor. So underscore user manager is equal to user manager. Okay, so now this is done. Now this is what we are doing. Forget password. When this method is called, we accept a model, and I will check if that email is not now or empty. If it is not, then we're going to check our user manager and find out or find that email. In case it is found, we're going to reset, or going to generate a reset password, that's a reset password token. So generate password reset token. Now since it's a token that's going to combine with underscore // and all these special characters, we have to convert it. We have to encode it into a base 64 URL, so we can send it as a link into the person's email account. So we did the same thing to the confirm email, and that's the same that we are doing to the reset password. So this method is going to encode it over here for us, and aside from that, we create a URL. Then there's an app URL. Remember that this app URL is coming from the app settings.json, and that is what we did. We set up the local host and the port. If you actually check here, this is the app URL. We have the local host and the port. Okay, So once you have that, we call a method known as reset password. So localhost and the port, and now a method known as reset password. Then we're going to pass in this email. Okay, so we pass in this email, and the email we pass in the user email. So this is going to be a query string, email, and the token. So the token that has been generated here, we're going to pass it to this model. Or is it model? No, that is a method. Sorry. Okay, so here it is an localhost, then the port is 7250, and we must have our API. Okay, so you must have here API and this controller's name. Then we have this method. So let's specify that in here, and that's going to be an API slash, and the controller name is login, and the method known as reset forget password. So that is the link that we are generating. So when you call this URL, it means you have this link. Now this link contains the email and the token that has been generated. So now we have a method, we have a class that we created in the previous video that is known as request DTO. If you are to go through this is under controllers model folder. Now when you open the folder, you can see we have request DTO. Now in this request DTO, we have two, subject and message. So this is the receiver's email, this is the subject, and this is the message that you want to send. So when you call this request DTO, it means we have to set two, subject and message. Now this two is to the person's email that is coming in. That's the model.email coming in. We have the message and the subject specified here. So we say please reset your account by clicking the button. This is the button. So as soon as you click on that, it's going to navigate to this method in the same controller. Okay, now in order to send this message, we need to call this service, email service. And how do you call this email service? We can do that in here. Remember that we've created that email service in the previous, that was the previous video. So that's a private void and email service, and we can set it up as email service. So with this email service, let's see, private void, and we must have, private read only. Okay, so yeah, let's inject this control period. Let's use the services, and we can now copy this, and in here let's bring this. Okay, now let's bring comma, let's paste this, let's copy this, and let's inject it here. So it's equal to this, and we can take off this. Okay, so this is the email service that we have actually added here, and that email service, it is now activated in this controller. So when you check this email service, when you go to the server project, you can see we have a service, and that's the email service. So the interface here has only one method, send email, passing the request and the object. When you go to this, we install, that is make it a NuGet package, and that's what you are using to send the email. So you create a my message, you pass in the username and the password over here about authentication. Then we set up the message, the subject, and there is the two from this request message. So that's going to be the receiver, and here we use our email. That's, we specify that inside the appsetting.json. So this is our email, the one that we are sending. This is our email, and this is our password, because before you send an email you need to log in, so we have to log in first. And there is the host, and the port has been indicated already there as, let's see, where is this? The port has been already indicated here, so that's the email service. Okay, so the port is 587, and now we send a message, and if everything works successfully, we return mail sent. Okay, so that's exactly what we are doing here. So here we are sending that email, we call that send email, and we need to provide in that request DTO, and now we have already populated that request DTO with the various properties here. When the return contains mail sent, then we want to return successful equal to true. It means it has been sent. Okay, so now when this is sent, it means the user has to go into the account and now click on the button to get click on that button to get the page or a new page to reset the password, isn't it? So we have to create this method, API / login controller, and this method. So let's create that method, and that method, that is a very simple one, small method, but it's going to perform a huge function for us. So we can paste this, the next line here. Let's see, that's a closing for this, so we can paste this here. And now this is the method that is going to receive it. So here is a reset forget password. Okay, so reset forget password. Now if we check this, we have to make some slight changes here. Now if the person clicks on this button, it's not going to redirect the person to the controller, but rather it's going to redirect the person to a page whereby the user can now create or provide new password. So it is better we take off this API from the as a controller method and turn this as a page, as a component, whereby the user can now provide the email and the password. And now that is a new password and confirm the new password. Okay, because that place we're going to provide the email and the token already, so it's going to be there. Now this method here is going to receive when a person clicks on save or reset password button. So this method is going to receive that reset password button, and that model here contains the various one indicated here, the username, validation or the token, and the new and confirm password. Now we are going to check if the email is not equal to empty. Then we are going to check the email from the user manager if it is found. If it is found, we are going to decode the token over here, and now we reset the password. So we're going to take off the old one and we're going to replace it with a new password here. Okay, so after that we're going to redirect the user to the login. We grab the app URL, that's the local host, and the port 7250/login is going to move the person to the login component. Therefore the person can now log in with the new password being created. So let's go ahead and now let's create this component, reset forget password component. So let's go to, can I copy this? Let's go to client side and pages folder, right click. Now let's click on add reset component, and now let's add that as reset forgot password.razor. Remember that the first one is forgot password, and this gives you a page whereby the user is going to provide only the email. By this time around here, the user is going to provide the new password and confirm the password, whereas the email and the token has been sent already, so it has been stored. Now let's go in there and forget password. That's a reset password. Let me grab all these. As I said earlier on, this is going to be made visible and going to be available in the description below. So this code, don't worry about it. You're going to get it. In case you can't type all these, I'll make it available for you. Now the route here, it is reset forget password. That's a route. So here, when a person clicks it, the button, it is coming to this page. Now when it gets to this page, as you can see from here, we install a component known as Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.Web Utilities. That is what you're going to use to grab the query strings, because you know it is coming in with the query string known as the user ID and the token. So we have to grab that keys from the address bar, right, from the query string. So, and here we are injecting the auth service. We also inject JS runtime and navigation manager as well. We display any error when you have an error here. So this here we just display the email and the token. Okay, that's what you display right here. And now here we are saying please enter the details. So after everything successfully done, you're going to call this method, that's a handle reset password, and this is the model that is going to receive all the inputs here. We check for validation errors, and now here we are going to, you create an input test. We bind this to this email, so this is a bind value, and to this email. we have D none. So this is a bootstrap, and that's a display none. So here it is hidden. Email and token. User is not going to provide email or token. It is coming in from the query string. So we store this over here and we hide it. So user can only see the following: that's a new password and confirm new password. That is it. Okay. Now after that, submit button, we have it. So we create this strings here, email and this token, and now we set a message as an empty one. We create an object out of this reset password DTO. Now when this method is called, we are going to first check. So URI, we create a URI is equal to navigation manager dot to absolute URL. So we grab the URL, that's the URI, yeah, from the address bar. Then we check if the query string is equal to email. So we grab the first email, then we set an out variable as email. Then the email that we created here, we set to this email. Okay, so the person's email is going to be stored in this email. The same thing applies to the token. So now we have the token and the email, but if you see, we have a model, that's a reset password DTO, and we can't send this model and send this email alongside. So we have to put all of them together as one component. So that's what we are writing. So reset password DTO email is equal to this email. So the email properties are found in this DTO is what we are assigning the output of this to. The same thing applies to the token. Okay, now this is the console write line. Here we can just take this off. Now when we are done, because you know this page, as soon as the person clicks on this submit button, this reset password DTO contains the new and the old password left with the email and token. So if we add the email token here, it means that this reset password contains the 4 properties: email, token, new password, and confirm new password. And that's what we do over here. We pass it to the reset forget password service. So this is a method found in this auth service. We store the output, and now we display, if successful, then we display alert password reset done. Okay, then we can now log the person in to the login page for the person to log in with the new password provided. Okay, so now with the auth service here, we can decide to take off this. So successful is equal to false. We can just return only success. So let's clear this, and let's also clear this. Okay, so if success is equal to true, when you go to the reset password, if success is equal to true, then we just say this reset password done. If it's equal to false, we say this. So there's no need for us to set that test over there again. Alright, so whilst we have this, it means we are almost done, isn't it? Now what you have to do here is we have to run application and test it out and see. So let's run the application and let's see what we can actually do. But first of all, what you have to do here is you have to create an account here. So we see from the previous video, we created an account at ethereal.email. That's a fake email account, and we have a username here and we have a password as well. So we're going to create a new account in here, and when trying to log in, we are going to say forget password, then we see if this is actually going to work. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we have error here. Let's rectify that error first. So let's see what we can actually do. So let's see if alright again, and okay, so let's see if you can actually, let's install this first. So let's copy this and let's go to Solution Explorer and client project dependencies. Let's install that package. So manage NuGet package, and now let's install it under the browse tab. Let's paste this. Okay, so that is this. Let's install. accept it. Okay, so this is done. Now let's see what else again can we do. So let's save this and let's run and see the error that we have again. So reset password. So this doesn't contain a reset password. So auth service. Now let's see auth service. No. So auth service. Okay, so we have to do that. We forgot that. Now let's see with the auth service, forget password. Okay, so reset forget password. Let's add this method in there. So that is the password. When the person clicks on reset password, we're going to receive the password here. Then we're going to push it to this reset forget password as a controller. Then we check the status and return. So with the login controller, do you have reset password in? So that's the reset password here. But in this, we must have, let's copy this here, and we must add this to the interface. So let's add this here to the interface. That's a reset forget password. All right, so let's save this. Now let's run this and see if we have any errors again. So we wait. Okay, so it seems like everything's successful. Now let's see. So is this going to run application for us? Okay, so is it going to run? Let's click on the button again. Okay, so we have a new one. So let's open a database and see. So do we have a database table open? That's our ASP.NET user. So when we refresh this table, you can see we have no data here. Okay, no account. So we are going to create a new account. So let's register. Now during the registration, you're going to use this. So copy the email. Let's paste this email here. And the password that you're using here is you're going to use user at 123. Let's repeat, user at 123. That is the password that we are using. Okay, so when we are done, let's click on submit and let's see what we're going to tell us. So submit. So we wait while the process is being done. So please wait. So we keep waiting. Alright, so you can see that here account is successfully created. Please confirm your email by clicking the link sent. That is the account created. So let's open the mailbox and let's see. So we have to confirm our account first before we can actually log in. When you go to our page here, refresh it. Now you can see that from here, account has been created over here, but email confirm is false. Okay, so now let's go to the email and whoa, I think I have internet connection. My connection is down. Let me check it back and come back. Okay, so I'm going to check my network and I'll come back soon. Alright, so guys, I am back. Sorry. So you can see we have a confirmed email account inside that email. Now I'm going to click on it and let's see what happens here. So okay, so you can see welcome to Netcode-Hub site. Now please confirm your email account by clicking on this button. So you can see as soon as I invite the mouse, you can see I have a confirmed email and the user ID and the token. I click on this and it's going to redirect you the controller. And now aside from that, you see I have a form created here, login. So now let's see, let's pass the same email. So this is the name of the email. Let me just copy this. And the password here is user So password, and the password is user at 123. So let me actually use a notepad. So notepad here. So that is the email and there is the password. So user at 123. So I'm going to copy this here. Now let's paste this. Okay, now let's submit. So you can see we are now logged in. Count time, you can see we are logged in as a user, right? Let's log out. Now let's log in again. So log in. Now the same email that we are going to use, then there's the password, we paste it here, submit. User is not correct, so let's see, there's the email. Let's copy this email, we paste it here, submit. And now let's see. Okay, so now we are logging now. Okay, so now we are going to change the password from this user to admin at 123. We're going to change this password to this. Okay, now let's see. So log out. Now if I decide to log in again, I click on forget password. Now provide your email. So there is the email. Now submit. So please wait. So let's see what happens here. So let's check here and see what we're supposed to do. The message is supposed to be displayed here for us. So let's make sure that message is okay. So let's all use this from this user, from this password, from the auth service. So auth service. So instead of displaying this, let's display this test for both. Okay, so now let's save this and now let's run this again. Let's wait. Okay, so it is refreshing. Okay, so now let's pass in the, is it this? No. Let's see, let's go in there and copy this email. Let's pass in the email here, submit, and now let's wait and see the output here. Alright, so you can see that password reset link has been sent to your email, so please check it out. So this is the password reset link. Now let's go to application. Let's open this once more. So let's open that message, and now this is going to be a password reset link. The first one is the confirm password. Now there's a confirm account to reset. Okay, there's a confirm email. Now if I click on this, you can see we have, so please reset your account password by clicking on this button. So you can see I have the email and I have the token. So if I click on this, let's see what happens here. So I'll click on this and it is redirecting us to the page. So that's a forget reset, forget password. And as soon as I get redirected, you can see I have password, pass in your password and confirm password. Now we are going to use this password, admin at 123. So let's paste this here and let's paste this. Now submit, please wait. Now password reset, done. Okay, so let's see. Now let's log in. So we are logging in with the first details. So the first one is the user, the email as a username. We can paste it here. And now let's use the first one, user at 123. Let's paste it here, submit. Now you see username and password are invalid. Okay, but let's use the admin. So let's copy this and let's use this admin, submit, and you can see we are now logged in. So we are now logged in here. So that's the simplest way to reset password by setting or sending a link to the user's email, whereby the user needs to click on that and perform these operations. Alright, so this the whole package or the whole source code are going to be sent to GitHub, and I'll link the link for this source code under the description, so you can just go in there and grab it. I believe this is clear, so thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I'm going to catch you up the next video, but if you like what I'm doing, you can just subscribe to the channel. Also, you can like it, give me a thumbs up, so I can keep on doing more of these for you guys. Thank you, and I'm going to catch you up in the next video.